with guest and vendor interviews, event coverage, and ticket giveaways, and so much more. Join us Fridays and punch your Texas ticket. For more information on the show, visit irlonestar.com/Texas ticket.
Hey y'all, it's DJ Mike from Dance Time in Texas. Join me Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. as I count down the top 10 Texas Red Dirt songs that are packing the dance floor. I'll be featuring local artists and the story behind the hits, shows in the area, as well as new songs that make you want to dance. It's Dance Time in Texas with DJ Mike on Lone Star Community Radio, 104.5 KCZW and 106.1 KZCC, Conroe, Texas, or online, irlonestar.com.
A Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's radio station with talk, music, weather, and traffic for Montgomery County. Have a question or comment about one of our shows? Want to know how to reach a host? Just contact the station at irlonestar.com or call in and leave a message at 936-647-3776. Get involved with your community with Lone Star Community Radio.
Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com. All right, you're listening to Lone Star Community Radio here on Lone Star, irlonestar.com. We're hanging out in the studio right now. I got my good friends Brett Hanley, Skippy, and Andrew Belshner of Audience of One. And we're going to just jump right in because we're running a little late. It took me a while to get here. It is raining, guys, so be careful out there. And I would definitely recommend following local news sources for what roads are closed. Do not use Google. Do not use any of that kind of stuff because that's what I depended on, and it didn't really work out well for me. So, guys, what's going on?
Are you upset that you did not get the snorkel option for your Cybertruck?
What's funny is...
Which, if you think about it, makes absolutely no sense.
Wait, you have a Cybertruck?
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a snorkel on it,
Why don't you just
though.
get a Dodge if you wanted people to think you're a douche?
All right, we're going right there. No, actually, no, I got a Ford Maverick. And
okay, so not a Cybertruck.
Not a Cybertruck, but it's a hybrid.
How much money do you think Dick makes?
Yeah.
Well, you know.
A Cybertruck, I mean, it looks like a DeLorean that overate on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Interesting to see what it turns out. I mean, think about the cool-looking cars over the decades it's like a hairstyle. You know, in the 80s, mullets and big hairs and claws and side ponytails, it was the normal. And then in the 90s, we had the ponytails and same thing with cars. We went from Fins to the Ford Taurus, which is a driving sea cow, to the Fiero, to the Miata, and everything in between. And
see, it's funny. I was
thinking an early 1990s 3D model.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it looks like a stealth fighter. That's what I like.
Okay, it could look like.
Have you ever seen a stealth fighter?
Yes, I have.
No, what it really looks like is you ever seen those making those engineers who make like design car bodies, and they have the clay.
Yeah,
it looks like the very, very, very,
it's
very,
like Edward Scissorhands.
Right before they get
that bit in Edward Scissorhands where you see what he's supposed to be, but it stopped too early. Yeah, that's what this is. Well, it looks like it's something that Minecraft came up with.
No, I had this idea about the Cybertruck the other day. Was there's so many things in it that could break, but I could see multiple owners not even know what that feature is that broke. Because it's one of those things where it's like, oh, we're going to be so smart. We're going to have these little functions in it, and we're going to make it so cool. But, like, no one uses, maybe 3/4 of it. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, oh, this part malfunctioned. What's that part? What is that? Oh, you didn't know it heats up your coffee. You didn't know that? We didn't tell you about that feature? You had to open the menu 20 times and go find it.
That's why car salesmen don't like me, because I go in, I'm looking for 4 wheels, an engine, and air conditioning. Pretty much.
Cybertruck doesn't have all of those, obviously.
So there you go. But they try to upsell me. Oh, we've got the the rear spoiler. I don't need one. I'll never go that fast. Well, okay, we'll throw it in for free. We have a backup camera. Oh, I can look over my shoulder. And
can you?
Yeah, I can. I haven't backed into one in quite a while now.
That's good.
Yeah, for weeks.
Well, so originally what I was talking about was I was going down 2854 and it's really flooded, and I was like, well, I'm in a truck. I could probably do it, but then I'm like, but there's a battery. So I wonder how many people who are in a hybrid truck try to because you can take on a little water in trucks, like if you have like a normal combustion engine.
Yeah.
But I was like, I bet people screw up.
You can't take on a little water.
You can't take on a little water at all. So
No, you can go through a little water.
Yeah.
And it keeps being forced out by your exhaust if you keep a steady pressure on your gas pedal.
Yeah.
But you can't take in a little water because that will kill your engine forever.
Well, you know what I mean. Because I don't really know how hybrids work, but I know it's dangerous to work on them. So that was the first thing I started researching. Like, because I looked up what can I do on my self maintenance for my car.
Nothing.
And everyone's like, just be really careful with the battery side because if you touch it, you could really hurt. You could really. It's not like your normal car battery. But you haven't seen any reports of people dying.
Not yet.
Not yet. It's like, oh, I want to change my oil, and then this guy just fries himself.
Well, we just got to wait a few years because they're saying the average life of a electric car battery is eight years, I think, and so I think in a couple of years that means they're designed for that, for the planned obsolescence. That we're going to set this for 8 years, which means as you get closer to that 8 year period, more and more other stuff's going to start going whack with that. And so we just need to see the long-term results.
Well, it's cool. I found out a feature that I can turn off the battery.
It does run on the little tiny gas engine.
Yeah. It's still, hey, it works. Okay.
I didn't realize that. That's kind of
interesting. Run your truck with
so does a golf cart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I have a picture
Right on
here.
there.
Brett and I are,
Keep your battery
Brett and
on.
I
Keep your
are
electric
thinking
motor hooked up because that's tested. That hybrid technology, that's the technology that's been running America's railroads and about half of shipping for
I'm
the
all
last 50 years.
hybrid. Go for it all the way. I'm just not a fan of all electric.
Yeah.
Not yet.
That's because you never driven one.
Oh, I have. We just don't have the infrastructure for it.
Yeah.
You don't know. You don't know my life. You know what I do.
Oh, we'll wait till there's another evacuation where you're going to be on the road for 8 hours, and I'll be in my Toyota Corolla, and you be in your electric whammy.
Speaking of Tesla features, that was a joke. Remember I was telling you about that, where they're evacuating Florida during one of the hurricanes, and Tesla's like, okay, we're going to open up everyone's battery, because apparently that's a feature that you can purchase to have access to more charge, and you have to pay extra for that, but even though everyone has the same battery in their car... So they're like, we're going to open this up for everybody. I'd be like, that was a feature? Is that what that meant? And then...
Well, that's why I refuse to do smart appliances and smart thermostat and stuff. I am the only one who's going to control my thermostat.
Dick just refuses to do smart.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah.
I think
You're
Andrew
welcome.
just nailed that
That's
one on
very
the
true.
head. Yes.
I keep it simple, stupid.
I have a picture here of a Pontiac Aztec mating with the DeLorean to produce the Cybertruck. It's pretty funny.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I
don't know
can
if
see
you
that.
It's my real mommy.
Rule
Oh, yeah, that'll do
34.
it. Yep,
Yeah.
that's it right
Yeah.
there.
I love it. Okay.
There's the Rule 34 moment.
It checks.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you,
I do want to
girls.
let people know that we're just hanging out. So there's not really anything we're promoting, unless Sean and Brett want to promote their theater stuff. Because I know, aren't y'all doing something
I
together?
haven't done theater. No.
Well, I just finished Buddy Holly's story. I directed that. Good production. We had some good crowds
Yeah.
on that. Now I'm directing another show down in West Houston, which is nice because
Literally 4 miles from my house, and he never comes by.
I'm built
He's
that way.
been at that theater 5 times in the last year.
Well,
Hasn't
he-
stopped by to even say hello.
He might be able to look behind him when he's driving. He can't turn left or right. He has a hard time with that.
Well, because the doors are so high now that I
Yeah.
can't look over them.
Well, no, see, that's what's insane to me. I went to go test drive a bunch of. I wanted a truck, and I test drove a bunch of trucks, and every truck is so big, it's insane. Like Andrew drives an F-150,
I do.
and when I got in the F-150, I was like, this feels like I'm driving a bus.
Well,
And it's-
especially coming from a small car
Yeah.
previously, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I had a
Why an
Ford
F-150?
Focus.
What's that?
Why'd you buy an F-150? Ranger's the same size these days and half the cost.
I have a Ranger as well.
Yeah,
old Ranger or a new
It's
Ranger?
32 years old.
Yeah, see, my wife had an old Ranger, so she got a new Ranger when she got rid of her old Ranger. Sorry, and the new one's huge.
Yeah, they're basically mid-sized.
It's basically
trucks,
an F-150.
Yeah. Well,
know.
that's why they created the Maverick, right? So when they reinvented or redesigned the Ranger a few years ago, it's no longer a compact pickup; it's a mid-size pickup, and so
Yeah.
the Maverick kind of took the place
Yeah.
of the compact pickup. At least that's
See, I'm the reason why they invented the Subaru Brat. If you remember that.
Is that the truck one? They
Yeah,
put
the
the
little
seats in the
truck
back?
with the
That's the truck one,
seats in
yeah.
the back facing backwards.
Because they didn't want to
gosh.
pay.
So it's the Subaru version of the El Camino
You know why
Yeah.
they did that? You know why they put the seats in the back?
I don't know
because they wouldn't fit in the front.
No, apparently there's I guess it's tax or tariff or whatever. So for trucks, so if you produce a truck outside the United States, you have to
that's
pay
funny.
like a heavy tax on it. So to make it not a truck, they put those plastic seats in the back.
Those wacky
so
Subaru
it would be
people.
considered a passenger vehicle.
There you go. Well, yeah, but see, that's about
Weird.
the height of
Yeah, that's a real
size,
thing.
car size.
Weird thing is, in the U.S., trucks actually get a discount. There's a tax on large cars, and
If you
cars
make
have
them
a
here.
if you make a heavy car
Here.
here,
Yeah.
you have to pay extra.
Interesting.
But if you make it big enough to be a truck,
Yeah, it's weird.
then they don't have to pay
You-
extra,
look
which
up-
is why my Escape is classified as a truck.
That's kind of cool.
Interesting.
Do you know what Subaru Brad is, Andrew?
oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah. I thought that was really interesting because I saw one and I was like, that looks like something I would buy.
See, that
And
would
it
have been
looks
my
for-
jam. In the 80s, I wanted a Pontiac Fiero because I thought those were so just great looking. Two-seater.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
My
Those,
size,
those
yeah.
plastic
The Fiero?
seats.
Yeah. Hey, it was 1983. What do you expect?
Those things were candy, man.
Yeah,
What,
eye candy.
what was the it car in the 80s?
No, man, candy. They were well. The Fiero was easy to break into, and the seats came out if you looked at them funny. So people would and,
That
and
can't
since
possibly
people
be a
kept
good
losing
feature.
their seats.
Yeah,
That's not a
in
good
the
selling
80s,
People kept stealing the seats. There was a market for Fiero seats.
Oh,
I would imagine.
And because eventually the flipping headlights would break, and so only one of them, so you'd have a winking Fiero.
I think I want a Subaru Brad.
I know, right?
I'm
And
looking
I
at
mean,
these pictures of it.
it's
Now, some of
Skippy
these are
size
old.
too.
That does appear to be a fairly small car.
It's not very big
but,
at all. Those plastic
kinda-
seats look comfortable. Don't
Kind of
they?
dope.
You know what those plastic seats remind me of? Is something off of like a roller coaster from the
Right,
80s.
right.
well, in the
something in
70s, I wanted a Gremlin, an AMC
Oh, yeah.
Gremlin,
Yep.
because I thought those were the
sure.
most awesome looking cars ever.
Do I sound okay to you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I had you overmodulated. So
Yeah.
70s, I wanted a classic IROC C.
You don't
yeah.
you don't usually sit there. And
No,
so I had
I've
to-
never sat in this seat. I don't think I've ever
Uh-oh.
spoke on this mic.
Which one
before,
of us
so-
took your normal seat?
Brett.
I did well.
Brett.
He
It's
sat
okay.
there. I sat here.
I'm just a guest today. I'm not a host, so that's typically the
well,
host's
technically, we're
chair.
guests as well. So
Well,
you're
I
not even a
suppose.
guest.
Yeah, I'm like a guest.
You're a squatter.
A guest adjacent.
Yeah.
Actually,
He's a
yes, I
radio
am. But
squatter.
you know what?
Andrew the radio
That's
squatter.
right. I am a radio squatter, but these days, squatters have quite a bit of rights. So good luck getting rid of me.
Yeah, all we hear is radio squatter.
I like it.
I actually like that. Radio squatter is that's a great nickname.
Well, you guys enjoying the rain? Do you like this? Is it me or does it not feel like it's raining that much to have this much chaos?
You guys are getting hammered.
I know,
We're
but-
not down southwest. We're not getting anywhere near as much.
Yeah,
rain.
Brett's in the southwest side of Houston, so he's a good distance away.
Yeah.
It's a good barometer to figure out why, because we say, well, Houston's getting nailed. Well, Houston's the size of Rhode Island, so
Right.
But am I wrong with
No,
thinking that way?
No, I agree with you. The perception is this time, okay, it's a rain event, and then you look around at the massive amount of flooding and the chaos, and I'm thinking, I guess it's raining a lot. It didn't seem like it was that much to cause this much of a reaction, but it apparently is.
Yeah, it's spread out. Now, one thing I wasn't PTSDing with the rain, so which is nice. I flooded twice.
I told Andrew you flooded 4 times.
At this house only twice.
No, 4 times between 2016.
So you're
and
wrong.
Harvey.
You're wrong.
You got
Have I blocked out 2 of them?
Tax Day, the Memorial Day, the year of Tax Day, Memorial Day flood, and Harvey. All 4 got you. You were outside
Well-
of your house for 3 years.
Right. Yeah, that was the 2 big floods were where we got water in. The other 2, yeah, you're right. It made it right
Those
up.
are tinkles.
But
Those aren't floods.
we were still rebuilding, so we didn't have flooring to get wet, so we just
Yeah.
squeegeed out. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking, I was like, Vernon's flooded again.
I saw that
And
It's right when they get out of it, and then they're underwater.
I was like,
again.
I wonder if they build that place
Oh, you know what that's like.
for that purpose. It's like, okay, we know when it floods here how much it costs to fix it because it's happened so many times over there. I'm like, I bet they have this thing down. Like, we got to get open. We can do it in like 3 days.
Well, one thing I noticed.
After a while, the FEMA will buy them out. Will buy out an entire neighborhood. They've bought out entire towns.
Well, I'm thinking that's what's going to happen in my neighborhood eventually because I live in the ghetto part of the Woodlands. It's called. I love it very much. It's called
The
Timber Lakes,
Woods?
Timber Ridge.
I thought they're called the Woods.
The woods, but it actually predates the woodlands, and we're technically not part of the woodlands. We're surrounded to where at the end of my street.
So
I
what's
go-
your
The houses are
street
only
address?
assessed at $150,000.
Yeah, let
so,
me.
you know.
Okay, everyone, get a pen. I'm going to give you my street address over the air real quick, and followed quickly by the last four of my social.
No, you know what I meant. Like, is it say the Woodlands?
And your
It might.
mother's
Well,
maiden name.
I can say legally and officially that I live in the woodlands, but technically I'm in a little separate village of Spring.
Okay.
That's completely
Where
surrounded
does your
by the
tax
woodlands.
money go?
Montgomery County.
Montgomery County.
Conroe
city
Independent
of
School
Spring.
District. But here's the thing, because of that, because my little neighborhood predates the woodlands by about 10 years. And since we're not part of it, what I pay for in a year for HOA fees, my mom, who lives in the woodlands, pays in a month. We
Yeah, it's
get to
probably
enjoy
nicer.
most of the benefits of the woodlands without a lot of the financial grief of it. But that whole area is built in a bowl, and of course the woodlands is built up so much. There's so much concrete and macadam now that we start getting more water. Eventually, FEMA or someone, I think actually a developer will, because my property value skyrocketed because we're so close to the freeway. The woodlands has grown so much; it's grown into Harris County and into the Tomball School District. And so you got to get like 30, 45 minutes just to get to the freeway in the woodlands. I'm a 5-minute walk away from 45. So
Right.
sooner or later, some developer is going to buy out Timber Lakes, Timber Ridge. It's already in a bowl, so you just lay down the infrastructure, lay down the piping and the cabling, dirt over that. You got the sixth village of the woodlands.
Show me the money.
Yeah.
Show me the
and
money.
I told my wife,
Okay, I'm going to stop you for a moment.
People know where you
Okay.
live now.
What's the name of that red-haired actress, Rachel?
McAdams?
Yeah. Okay. What's the name of a surface that you put on top of a road that's made of tar?
macadam.
No, it's macadam. It's named after a guy named macadam, the guy who invented it.
Really?
Yes.
See, of my age, I
Interesting. You
still
learn something new every
Right?
single day.
I still want to know why
I put
FEMA
wrong emphasis on the
The
wrong syllable.
syllable. That's right.
is FEMA really like a land baron?
No, well, FEMA can, because I've actually
Yeah,
FEMA's
FEMA
offered
will.
several times to buy out. In fact, the back half of my neighborhood, because it kind of goes up, crests, and then goes on the backside, and the backside's where Spring Creek is.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of houses were
So who owns it?
permanently underwater.
The country or the government?
The federal government will own it. The federal government will own it if they buy out a neighborhood or a town because what happens is they end up just doling out money after money after
Well,
money,
yeah.
and eventually they just buy them out
Which is-
because it's cheaper in the long run.
Which is why I've kind of held out, because the FEMA did send me a letter saying we want to buy it, but I knew it would be like, we'll buy your house for cash for $30,000.
yeah.
The
You sure that was
woodlands,
FEMA? Because I get guys telling me they'll buy my house for cash for $30,000 all the time. I'm like,
right?
my $150,000 house, sure, okay.
What a lot of people don't realize is that the Woodlands is actually a master plan community. It's a subdivision.
Yeah.
Done by George Mitchell. It's owned by the Howard Hughes Corporation. So the Woodlands is private property, all of it, which is really weird. So it's the federal government can buy my property for bottom dollar, or Howard Hughes.
I like how
who will wanna
Sean.
turn
Now
into
we
the
know
next-
what Sean prays for every night before bed. He's like, please, Mr. Hughes,
Buy me out.
Mr. Hughes, come deliver me.
Come
Hey,
Howard.
Skippy, I got some good news for you, by the way.
What's that?
They still make a 2024 Subaru Brat.
No way.
I'm looking at it right here. It's quite
Honey,
sharp.
if you're listening, I know you're not, but just in case, you can play this back later.
Apparently, it's not for sale here in the United States, though. Yeah,
Darn it.
doesn't look like it anyways.
Darn it.
Not actually. I think the '80s version was a little
Doesn't
bit
mean you
sharper.
can't buy
but,
it.
Well, yeah, that's true. I guess you would just have to ship it on
You
over.
fly to Japan, buy it, ship it here
Yeah.
on a Chinese.
I could see Sean living in Japan because he did.
I did look.
But I'm saying like living there now.
I wouldn't mind going back. I think before I die, which could happen any day now, so I gotta start working on this. Is
Quite macabre.
Do a world tour. Take my wife, maybe my kids on where I grew up, kind of like
And
out to
conveniently go on the
California.
solo part in Thailand. We
Be
get
the,
it.
like the
Yeah.
Skippy Trail of Tears. What are you
Skippy
talking
Trail
about?
of Tears.
Okay,
I
yeah.
love that. I'm gonna trademark pending on that one.
Oh God.
But yeah, because I want to go back to Japan because I know the base has grown. When I lived on the base, it was 1 square mile dinky, and now, Japan. That was in the 70s, so we're talking 50 years ago. then the late 70s and the early 80s in England. Want to go back there because now my school allows girls there. So 250 years.
How progressive of them. Yes.
I know, 250 years, not a single gal in that school. And then I leave and they finally go co-ed. That just ticked me off so hard. But I want to see because like in England, I lived in Portsmouth. And off the coast of Portsmouth, in the channel between Portsmouth and the Isle of Wight, there was a ship called the Mary Rose, which had sunk. It was supposedly sunk in battle, but then they found out that it fired its cannons, and it did this, and water started coming in, and it sank. But they found that out later. It's like when they found out that the Titanic split in two.
Right.
They didn't find out till after the fact, so all the Clive Cussler stories where they're raising the Titanic suddenly don't work anymore. But Prince Charles had always wanted, now King Charles, always wanted to raise the Mary Rose and turn it into a museum. And so that was the big thing for Portsmouth, raising funds to raise the Mary Rose. And I left England, and I swear like 3 weeks later, that's when they decided to raise the Mary Rose. And that's when they found out, wait, there's no cannonball damage on this ship. It's pristine. Where's the damage that made it sink? And that's when they realized just
That it was a Warner Brothers cartoon that sank
yeah,
it.
yeah. It just tipped a little too far. Oops. So I want to go back and see the Mary Rose.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, or see if, obviously see my old mates. In fact, one of them,
their mates?
My old group in England, we've already had unfortunately, our first adult passing away. One of my good friends, Jeremy Hode, passed away a couple months ago. And so we all got back together through Facebook and social and started the whole, okay, now that it's started, we need to hook back up and see where we are.
All right, go. Why don't you go? Why are you here?
Well, you know what? I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I'm going to England.
You finished
now,
Buddy Holly, and
right
you got
now.
this
I
other.
finished well, I got another show, and I'm literally directing show to show to show with no moment in between through the end of the year.
Well, I'm glad you're here then.
I'm glad to be here.
You should probably be over there directing.
I should, but when
Yeah.
Brett said, "Hey, I want to do this," be there. It was like I couldn't punk out.
Okay.
I could not punk out. I had to do this with you guys.
Yeah. And then the storm happened.
And then the storm happened. I know. I was worried, for those listening. I was driving up and, I've got to run the newsroom. So I got, a trusty Chromebook here just in case. But that rain started really pounding down with cars starting to slide. And I thought, oh, great, I'm going to have to do the punking out. Unfortunately, it cleared
Dude, I
up.
drove through both waves of that rain.
Yeah, he came from the southwest.
Yeah, but he's also,
of Houston.
When I was coming through your neighborhood, through Woodlands, there was so much lightning everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem is, Woodlands is aptly named. We have trees galore, and, I'm saying we got trees downed everywhere in the Woodlands side. They're so saturated that they're falling. In fact, my sports director had a tree go through his roof yesterday.
That's a fear of mine, by the way.
Yeah, fortunately, everyone's okay.
Well, that's a public service announcement. There are trees downed all over the woodlands, so if you have any good taste, stay away from the woodlands, forever.
No, I always have that fear every time I hear a lightning or see a lightning strike and a thunderclap. I'm thinking, I wonder if that was a pine outside my house. It's about to snap and come right through my living room. Oh, see, that's worst fear.
You got camera, you got camera on that? Ooh. There you go.
Yeah, that looks like it just uprooted.
Yeah, that was just wind. That's just soft. That's just soft earth and wind.
But still.
No. I've seen what happens when a tree gets hit by lightning because I drove past one in Colorado.
Oh yeah. This
oak tree got hit. Oak tree got hit by lightning as we were driving past it. The base of the tree exploded.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, it looks pretty gnarly.
It didn't just fall over.
My house got struck by lightning when I was sleeping.
Really?
Yeah, it sounded like a train. And everyone woke up in the house, and we didn't know what was going on.
There's a funnel cloud.
It's a
over
good thing you
your-
didn't have
over
any
your house.
dead bodies in the.
Well, no, it was actually kind of
basement
creepy
that
because
would've
we
come to life.
all imagine there's 6 kids, and then my parents, and then everyone just kind of finds each other like in the middle of the house. Like, why are you up? Do you hear that? Why are you up? I'm like, why are you up? And then the backyard, you could see the windows, and then lightning, we saw bricks all in the backyard, and we're like, that's weird. Where are there? And then it went dark, and then it was lightning, and more bricks, and I'm like, what's going on? And then my dad's like, hey, Ben, go check the 3rd floor. And so that's up. 3rd floor was like a game room, kind of mini room. And you could just, we all
still there?
Well, we all looked up and you could just see smoke. And we're like, oh, that's bad.
Hey Ben, go up to the top floor, but here, take this TV antenna with you. Tape a flashlight to the end of it. Hold it high. Hold it high.
So yeah, it was on fire. It was kind of cool.
Ah.
So It burnt the whole third floor and some of the second floor.
Whoa.
It's
Well,
cool.
it's harder than the surface of the sun.
Lightning?
Yep.
Like anyone could even know that.
Do what?
How do you did you know?
I said like
You
anyone
got a
could even
really
know
long
that.
thermometer.
No,
Yeah.
lightning in a
93
bottle,
million mile
dog.
long thermometer.
He's talking about the temperature.
I don't know how they know it.
I think you just
know, I
made
mean,
that up.
No.
Sounds really cool though.
I feel like they make up a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Check it. Temperature of a lightning
Because
strike.
like, wasn't it recently like
on
carbon? What do they call it when they can like measure carbon dating?
Yeah.
Carbon
Like
dating.
it's not 100% accurate or something
Oh,
like that.
it gives you a circa level, but
But like that circle level
It's never
could be.
been 100% accurate.
Well, I meant more of like the
That's-
circle
that's
level
not-
could be
that's-
huge.
oh
It's
yeah,
not like a
it's
couple
somewhere
years.
between 50 and 3,000 years
Yeah,
old.
it's like, well, then what's the purpose of that? It's like
No,
it's kind of like 23andMe. You know,
it's like-
you're
Okay.
you're from Earth.
From the National Weather Service, a lightning bolt is up to 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun.
holy cow.
And that's how close I was to one. I was probably from here.
Maybe
When
it's the
lightning,
friction that-
when lightning strikes a tree, the heat vaporizes any water in its path, possibly causing the tree to explode at the tip of the bark to be blown off. Look at you.
Does it really create sand into glass or glass
Yeah,
into sand?
uh-huh.
Is it really that real?
yeah,
Is
it
that
does.
real?
It turns, on the beach, lightning hits. And
Any
it makes,
any
it
beach.
ma-
It
yeah,
could be in
if lightning hits
Galveston.
on a sandy beach, it'll turn the sand into glass.
That's so cool. So I want to see that.
I just
Okay,
want. I want to meet the guy.
All
who-
right, next rainstorm to
temperature of the
Galveston.
lightning
we'll,
bolt.
we'll,
Put some rods in.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And
Make
which
sure
end
your
did they keep
camera's
the
on,
temperature on?
because
Right.
we'll be happy to watch you from the safety of
Yeah.
our homes.
It's a brave man whoever took that temperature.
Yeah, whoever got the thermometer and tried to figure out which end of the
Is it
lightning
Benjamin
bolt
Franklin?
Stick it in.
Right.
Benjamin Franklin, yes, he discovered electrical properties by hanging a key off a kite during a lightning storm. Staggering. Well, obviously he was grounded enough.
He wasn't actually holding the string of the kite.
No, it was tied it off.
Was it legit a kite?
Yeah, it was legit a kite.
So that story is real. I figured
Yeah.
it was just like.
And Washington did not cut down the cherry tree. I think
See,
it was
there's a
an
lot of
outhouse.
lies in the past.
The what?
There's a lot of lies about the past.
Well, funny thing, most of the lies about Washington came from a single book by oh crap, I can't remember his name.
But did he have wooden teeth though?
Oh no! Actually,
No,
he
he did
wore
not.
cadaver teeth and ivory teeth.
Yeah, he had and some metal teeth,
Yeah, some metal. Which is
Isn't that weird?
like Jaws from the Bones.
Like, why
Bone
lie?
movies.
Like, why even make that rumor?
It's more fun.
Because I'm pretty sure they have his teeth somewhere, like in his museum. I'm pretty
all
sure
it
that's
takes
the
is
thing.
someone saying, "Hey, do you know George Washington had wooden teeth?" And eventually,
Next, you're,
especially
next
in
you're going to
social
tell me
media-
that Johnny Appleseed wasn't a real person. Please don't
Was
do
a
that
real
to
person.
me. Thank you.
He was, and he actually did spread apples across
Although they could have
Ohio,
been,
Illinois, and
they could have been
Indiana.
pomegranates, and that's the thing. Johnny Pomegranate Seed just didn't have that
But
Right,
it wasn't a
right,
good
behind
deed.
it,
Right.
so it's apples.
So he
See,
didn't. It didn't refer to him having a lot of illegitimate children.
Who?
Well, I didn't think
Johnny.
about that.
Washington? Or
Johnny
I didn't
Appleseed.
even think about
No.
that.
Okay.
No, but
Just
he
making
did
sure.
own a lot of land in Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio because he planted those apples, which made that actually technically his homestead. And
So that's
he
all
was
it
able
took
to
back
sell
then?
that land to people.
Because that's all it took.
Man,
So he's a-
If you
that's
planted
like
your
marking
seed
a
somewhere?
tree. That's my dog marking a
He
tree.
he went to
This is
those
my
places.
tree now.
He went to those places, marked it as his claim, proved the land because apples are food.
He's
If
like
you-
the original squatter. I
know,
It's
right?
amazing. It's
No,
kind
he's
of like the free grazer we talked about on our show the other day.
free grazer. I think
Well, it
I said
actually
right.
is. It is.
That's what I'm
it
saying. He's
actually-
like the
it actually
OG
does
free
go back
grazer.
go back to where squatters' rights comes from.
Oh, man, what's
Because
his name?
they wanted to stop speculators from buying up government land, cheap government land.
Thank
So-
you, Johnny Appleseed.
So
Thank you.
if as long as you can live there unmolested for like 2 years, it's not. You can't just move into somebody's house and say, "Well, I'm squatting now. You can't get rid of me." That's
You can
No,
in
that's
San
not-
Francisco.
Say, I don't know.
Well,
I think
okay.
you can actually.
San Francisco, New York, and L.A. That's
They have all types of squatters there. If you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, but the pendulum's
Hello.
already started to swing back from that. People realizing, saying it's like, hearing, come here, you get a cell phone or something like that. Remember during the Obama
Yeah.
era, that was a big thing. Come, I want my Obama phone, and of course that never happened. Same with squatters; they start to hear, oh yeah, you get to, you move in and just fake a lease or show a lease or get electricity in your name or something like that, and it's yours, and they buy it, and then it starts clogging up the courts
Yeah.
But now you. One thing I love about our
See, I thought
judicial
where
system-
you were going to go was they're always welcoming until it starts being. They have to be welcoming.
Oh
you know,
yeah,
it's like-
no one has a
it's like,
problem.
there's no problem at the border until we put them on buses and send them over there.
Yeah, or gay offenses are bad until you're giving an inaugural speech or the gala keynote address, and of course or defund the police as you walk down with the Secret Service detail. But one thing I love about the judicial system here in America is the tiered system. If this doesn't give you relief, you get all the way up. And I think we're going to find more and more issues like this are going to hit SCOTUS, hit the Supreme Court. Over squatters' rights eventually will do it because humans and Americans in particular love to take things to their extreme. I think it's one of the things that made this country as awesome as it did. We did stuff in 200 years that others didn't do in 2000 because very frontier. What's next? We got to do it next. We got to take it, and that gives you good or ill. You got the idiots who walk into a Starbucks with a AR-15 strapped to the back because they can, and you don't need to. But if you have the right to do something, some people feel the need to act on it, and so with squatters' rights, when you hit a certain level, someone somewhere is going to get litigious over it, and it's going to have to work its way up to the system. I think the next big one that's going to hit SCOTUS is Supremacy Clause versus the 10th Amendment, and I'm dying for that to happen.
You're going to have to clarify on that one.
Oh, sure. No, absolutely. Sorry. I promised myself I wouldn't get political today, but this is...
Is that really political?
No, it's not. That's why I'm doing it. Okay, so
What do you think about Palestine?
Palestine, I think...
No, I'm kidding. I don't care about that. I want to talk about the 10th Amendment. It was a joke.
Okay, so the Supremacy Clause... states of the Constitution states that in matters of state versus federal law wins. Mm-hmm. However, the 10th Amendment dictates that the federal law can only extend to what the framers originally intended the federal government to oversee.
Okay.
Actually, no.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Actually,
Mom and Dad are fighting.
Number one is the 9th Amendment, not the 10th Amendment, and it states that only those powers specifically given to the federal government in the Constitution are those that the federal government can
Can we talk about Subaru
enforce.
Brad again?
No, I like this. This is fun. So what's the main issue here?
Yeah,
There's
it's the
some.
Supremacy Clause versus the 10th Amendment.
So what's
Not the ninth.
what's
Yeah.
what's the main issue?
I was
here?
dumbing. So okay.
9th and 10th are almost identical.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. But no. This is something that
it's still not about it's not what about the framers intended. It's about what's actually written in the Constitution.
I was dumbing it down for
Me,
a
thank
lot
you.
of-
Go
Well,
ahead and say it.
no,
Go ahead and
just
say it,
I
yeah.
mean, because
And
it's
you
something
wonder
I
why we're
could talk
dumb.
about
You're
for
doing it
hours
wrong.
on it. I could talk for hours on it. I mean, not when I say dumbing down, I mean readers digesting it down to 50 words or less. So, marijuana.
Continue.
Okay.
I'm interested.
States' laws are allowing it.
Correct.
Medicinal and recreational.
Correct.
It's still federally illegal. Eventually, that's going to get to the Supreme Court.
Sure.
Joe Arpaio, the Arizona sheriff, who started working on Arizona state laws to stop illegal immigration, was sued by the Obama government, by the federal government. And so you had a state law versus that. Now we have the abortion issue. Basically, the Supreme Court said it is a state issue now. And so
Technically, they said it was always a state issue.
yeah, it was always a state issue. They reversed their previous ruling. It's not like they had to do the 20. Is it the 23rd and 24th? They had one constitutional amendment prohibiting alcohol, and then the next constitutional amendment was, "Oops, we're undoing that and bringing alcohol
Thank
back."
God.
21st.
Is it not? Is it that one? Okay, I couldn't remember which ones are those. So now we're even on the 9th and 10th amendment thing because I couldn't remember that one.
Yeah.
10th Amendment, I know, but so
Because the 20th Amendment came between them, and that's the one that gave women the right to vote.
19th.
Was it the 19th? Okay, then it was the 18th and the 20th that,
Got it.
yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so we can go down that rabbit hole. That's why.
So squatters' rights.
Yeah, squatters' rights. Well, that's going to be a thing because when squatters' rights were originally envisioned, as Brett pointed out, it was a good thing. It was to stop land grabs from speculators. And someone saying, if I established a residence here, but that was back when we had
Sure.
this untamed frontier. Well, now, that doesn't mean it translates to I bust into a New York walk up because they're on vacation in Martha's Vineyard for the summer, and I get 3 months there and get cable in my name, and it's suddenly mine. It's not supposed to work that way, but since it wasn't originally intended that way,
the framers needed to have a Netflix clause in there. They really screwed that up.
Exactly, and that gets all of it gets down to supremacy clause versus the 10th Amendment. Is what is the reach of the federal government,
Right.
And that's where you're going to determine immigration, abortion, all gun rights, all these things eventually.
All right, topic 2, net neutrality. Go.
No one knows what it is.
Oh, it's back in the news now.
Well, I'm saying
No,
no one really knows what it is.
I'm remembering the early days of Dick and Skippy now, where I'd have to,
net neutrality's fairly simple.
Can I just for 1 second, Brett, and say that Dick has really grown politically, because when we first started, I've been very political and stuff, and I kind of caught Dick off guard when we first started doing the show, because I'd be saying, 10th Amendment, these things like that, and Dick would actually start studying and figure out
Look
what
at
I was talking
you.
about. So,
Grown up so
And then I realized I was like, I
And
don't
then me
really
and
care.
Sean would get going on one of the shows, and Dick would just be sitting there going,
yeah, I'm just gonna
like
sit back.
like we're doing now. Huh?
Yeah, I don't really care.
so the revival of Friends, what about that? No, net neutrality is basically saying that
Yeah, go get my coffee.
if you charge somebody for access to the internet, that's all you can charge them for. You can't
Get outta here.
strangle them because they're,
Give me an example. I need examples of is it kind of like AOL where
okay.
they provide?
AT&T, if you use too much data, then they start to strangle your bandwidth, or if you watch too
That's
much.
not a net neutrality problem. That's an actual,
But
that's
I'm
an actual
talking-
contract problem. The net neutrality issue is if Netflix doesn't pay, and this has happened a couple of times. Comcast has strangled Netflix in Colorado and California and other places because they didn't pay an extra amount to Comcast. Even though Netflix wasn't using Comcast for their internet access, and all of Comcast's clients were paying whatever they were paying for their rates, Comcast wanted extra money from it. Basically, net neutrality is saying you can't run a protection scheme on the internet, because that's basically what it is. It's like, nice streaming service you got here. It'd be a shame if somebody throttled down the access.
Okay.
That's
But it is,
basically-
correct me if I'm wrong, it is now back in the news now. I just heard that
It is
it's
back in the news,
It's come back
because-
up, or it was just passed, or something like that?
net neutrality was killed for a couple of years.
Right.
I think it was Trump's head of the FCC who killed it for a
I
while.
guess my
and
question
then
is-
Biden's guy didn't get around to putting it back in until
Till now.
3 years, until it was
Okay, that's answered
politically
my
relevant.
Yeah, I was just wondering why it came back up. Because to me, the internet doesn't really seem broken. So what are we doing this for? I don't know.
Well, not even that. It's almost like there hasn't really been a negative thing that's happened on the internet, really.
Not one
like,
single
I'm talking
thing.
about overall. Maybe there's some bad people on
There's
the
been some
internet.
Sure.
There's been some throttling, and basically,
I've never.
the big
I haven't-
streaming services like Disney and Netflix.
I haven't noticed it at all.
They just cut the checks and they get.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like, well,
if it's
yeah,
not
but it's like-
broken, are we
it's-
trying to fix a problem here that doesn't really exist?
It does exist though. It's basically imagine you go to this one bodega and you live in New York. You go to a bodega and you buy, I don't know, milk and bread there every day. And milk and bread there is a little bit more expensive than it is at the convenience store in the suburbs, and you can't figure out why. Well, the reason why is because this bodega is under protection from the mob, and they have to pay money to the mob
Sure.
to not get robbed.
Okay.
So that's basically what net neutrality stops, is it stops a protection racket from working in streaming surfaces.
Just streaming.
Well, anybody who needs
Internet.
high bandwidth internet to connect to their customers and clients.
Because I feel like there's more to it.
It's
I feel like it's not because because that might have been where the discussion started, where these streaming companies, because of how
well, I
much
mean, if you can
bandwidth
throttle the bandwidth, you can stop communications altogether.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it's
and
not.
that's where it becomes. That's where I try to avoid slippery slope
Yeah.
arguments because people always go, well, that's a slippery slope fallacy. You know, well, like, I don't care.
Well, it's almost like because I if I remember correctly, where people had an issue with it was there were certain ISPs that wouldn't let you use certain tech, like certain like cloud.
Yeah, that's a
services
different.
and
That's
stuff
a
like
different
that.
issue entirely. That's the product as service issue, which is
Or it might require you to you have to have an email address with Comcast or something. Like you have to.
yeah.
And they didn't people are like, well, I don't want that. But then they make you sign up for it. But you don't have to use it, but they make you use it.
They
for
make you
certain
sign up
things.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
As defined by Wikipedia,
Here we go.
net neutrality is the principle that internet service providers, ISPs, must treat all internet communications equally, offering users and online content providers consistent rates irrespective of content, website, platform, application, or type of equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's more in there, but I got bored of reading it.
Basically, it's to prevent.
I get it. I don't think it's an issue. I like the Wild West idea of it, where the mob's involved.
Well, the Wild West was going before net neutrality was killed, and then it got
Yeah.
stifled down. And it's,
Did Skippy fall in, by the way?
No, he had to get water.
fall into the coffee.
Yeah, I know he's getting coffee, but it's been
Well,
gone
I
for a
mean,
little while.
because that whole idea, especially with AI and the what AI requires power wise.
Oh, AI is nothing compared to blockchain.
Yeah,
Well, I meant like
mining of Bitcoin and yeah,
Yeah, just
That's-
just blockchain algorithms in general.
the amount of
The amount of processing
Servers and
power
processors
and
and yeah.
bandwidth those
Yeah.
things demand is insane.
so that's why I'm kind of curious what because bandwidth is probably it's the heart of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I always wonder what the underlying factor to net neutrality really was about, and what it really restricts. And then who's making the most money off of it? Someone always makes money off of this kind of stuff. So,
AT&T, Comcast, and Verizon.
well, I mean, when net neutrality goes through, so they pass it or whatever.
Oh.
So who's making the money off of it?
AT&T, Comcast, and Verizon.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I like it.
Or the 6 companies that own all of U.S. communications.
Hold on. Did y'all see that? And I don't know if this is 100% true, but this is what I've read. This was when Amazon had those stores in New York, and I think they had a couple somewhere in California where you can. It's basically didn't have a checkout person
okay.
where you go in and you just grab your item and it knows that you took the bananas.
Does the Amazon overlords know?
Well, it's like they were trying to do touchless and go technology or something like that. You go into the store, you open your app, and you say, "I'm in the store."
Sounds like a date
And then
for you, Dick.
Well, it turns out. Thank you. It turns out it was actually people from India watching
Touchless
on
and
camera.
go.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really
Oh, there was no high tech.
it was no
technology
it was
behind
high
it.
tech technology. It was people in India watching you pick up.
Yeah,
stuff.
that doesn't really work. That doesn't scale. Let's just put it
Yeah.
that way.
No.
Does anyone else see the irony of waiting in line at an Amazon store?
It was Ted from Kansas.
Well, no. See, what got
Never
me
mind.
thinking about this? What got me thinking about this was
How went over everyone's head?
how many
Oh,
ide-
no, I got it.
how many
The irony of-
new
yeah.
tech stuff is like that, where you give this great promise of a cool idea, because it is a cool idea to
Sure.
walk into the store and just grab your thing and then just leave, because
I mean, that's kind of at the heart of every Kickstarter, right? You just come up with a crazy ass idea. It doesn't
Yeah.
actually have to have any capability of working, but you can generate a bunch of capital for an idea. I think that happens all the
but
time.
see, they didn't need a Kickstarter. This was
No,
Amazon,
the
so
Amazon,
they're
sure.
already like, hey, we're going to be working on it, because they were trying to
It gets
work
you out
on
to the
stuff.
news, though, too. Keeps you relevant.
But then when
right?
you were so bad at it because they couldn't figure it. I guess they're like, it was the cart before the horse kind of idea, and so they're like, oh, we can't figure this out. Let's just hire a bunch of people in India to watch.
I
the-"
wonder if that Neuralink thing is actually going to come out as being one of those things. If they can prove that guy's just making it all up, or they're orchestrating it somehow. You know what I'm talking about?
Well,
the Neuralink,
I can
how
see
he's
it-
able to control a mouse and things with his brain
I can
waves
see
only.
it being. I can see it working, but not to what people think it's like futuristic Star Trek stuff.
It's a scam.
That's what I'm
So-
saying. Wouldn't it be funny if it came out that essentially we have
It's like
good
that-
intentions? This is the way we want Neuralink to work.
It's like Uri
However,
Geller.
I love yeah, I know Yuri Geller is. The Spoonbender, we talked about him on the Audience of One show, Wednesdays, 10 a.m. right here on Conroe's 106.1 and
gotta plug it.
104.5.
Gotta plug it.
Good plug.
Thank you. That's my radio voice.
But yeah, no, so Sean, we were talking about the Amazon
yeah,
stores.
Skippy's back, so shh. Let's go ahead and change
Or
the subject,
Skippy,
yeah.
sorry.
Amazon stores, yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
didn't
was
work.
Well, no, they turn out to be people from India who watched you instead of like it was actually like a barcode thing scanning. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, okay,
So-
fill me in here now.
Okay, so Amazon had stores where you could walk in. and
yeah, we
you,
have
like,
one in the
You
Woodlands
sign
Mall.
in,
Which is funny to me.
you sign in, and then you don't have to like talk to anybody. You just grab your product
Oh,
and
and
put
it
it
would
in the
scan
cart.
the thing and go, yeah, without having
And
to
they were
check out.
claiming it was some high-tech technology that was allowing you to basically shop without interacting with human beings. As it turns out, it was just people in India watching you on camera.
Ted from Kansas.
Right, of course.
Okay, see, I was thinking about the Amazon store that they had in the Woodlands Mall, which is where
that
I
what-
ordered from Amazon when you can buy it here. It's like, because
That was your
you guys
joke?
can
That
just-
was- I didn't-
Really,
that was
the
my
entire
joke.
purpose of Amazon. But
That was my joke when you were out. I said,
I
does
didn't-
anyone
okay.
else see the irony here?
got that-
Yeah,
that great
exactly.
mind.
Well, what's
thing
funny
going
is I didn't even know there was an Amazon store.
I think
that's
it
why I
lasted
did-
6 months, if it did, if that.
Like,
It
what
was-
is
it
what
was
what
done.
makes it great is that Amazon failed at running a brick and mortar, which all the brick and mortar stores that failed at doing an online
Right.
presence,
Back when it was a
that
bookstore, you
Amazon
mean?
put out of business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back when it was a bookstore, sure.
What do they sell there?
Oh,
Like their basics?
It was all their hot items.
they were trying to be the new Sharper Image and just failed
Similar to that.
miserably.
Yeah, similar to that.
Because Sharper Image, you could go in and in the 1980s play with a video telephone and then see a stormtrooper, full size stormtrooper.
Yeah,
and then,
no, the full size Predator.
yeah, stuff
That
like
was
that.
cool.
It was like just guy heaven.
And then the
Amazon
massage
store
chair.
was just you can get a squeegee.
Right,
or-
right. Is whatever the top selling items were for that month, they would feature them, and then they'd have it was trinkets. A lot of it was just
Yeah.
trinkets or cheap electronics. Nothing special about it at all.
Interesting.
Yeah. But again, just irony to me.
So now I understand. Because I was like, why would anyone do that? It sounds stupid. But then actually, people did go in there.
Not enough because it didn't last.
Well, yeah. But yeah, I really like that story about the Amazon store where the people from India. But it got me thinking, what other technology out there is just like that, where we're sold a bill of goods and it's like, no, actually, this isn't really how it works.
Like I said,
You mean like
Neuralink.
AI?
I was
Well,
just
no,
thinking,
Neuralink, you can't really do anything with Neuralink because it's not available to the public.
Well,
So you can, because that's what I'm saying, like you can say, hey, actually, it helped this guy because of this little tiny improvement he had. But hey, he still helped him.
Okay. I thought you meant just the fact that you were acting on false pretenses. And
I can, that's what I'm saying. I can see it working in ways we don't really care about. It's like, oh, he actually can move his pinky. Well, big deal, right?
okay.
Well, because the
Yeah,
guy,
no, I get it. I
the
get
guy
it.
they did
talking
it
about
on.
Uri Geller.
Well, the
Yeah,
guy,
back to that guy.
No,
He
the,
bent his pinky.
no, the guy they did it on was a paraplegic, from what I understand.
Correct,
okay.
yes.
Oh,
So that was the whole point of Neuralink, was like it wasn't like for us to talk to each other without using our lips and mouth. It's more for people who have like actual brain issues that.
Right now, yeah, that's
well, that
yeah.
So I can see it. I can see it doing something like, he can taste food or something. I don't know.
I don't think he has a problem with
Hey,
that.
I don't know how that really works. Okay, clearly, but that's what they're using it for right now.
yeah. They're actually directly connecting to his motor cortex.
Yeah. And so I can see that working, but not to the point where you're thinking, well, we can send each other thoughts.
I didn't go that far. No, I was just saying that wouldn't it be funny if the big announcement of the success of Neuralink was all just fake, as they had it pre-planned out, that he wasn't actually controlling the sound of the music. Remember, he was
Yeah,
turning
some
it
guy
down.
in
and
India just
turning
moving
it. Yeah, that was the
little
whole joke.
joystick. Oh, look at my
That's
Yeah,
hand.
exactly.
Okay.
In 30 seconds, we're gonna move the mouse left to right.
Well, I think a defining characteristic of our technological adolescence.
Retired drone pilot.
There you go.
Yeah, that'll work. But we have, Brett just mentioned AI. We have
We do not have AI.
we have things at our fingertips that you can do a lot with what AI could become. But right now, it's just, what if Gandalf were a basketball player? Show me a video
what's
of
creepy-
the female Ghostbusters or
this
something.
is what's creepy though.
Yeah, well,
so
Same thing with the internet. We
No,
have the
other
knowledge
day-
of the universe at our fingertips, and we look at cats.
well, not that. So I saw an ad.
What is it actually good for? Right? Okay, this is great that we can
Porn.
do
It's
it.
really
But-
good for porn. Apparently, there's so much AI-based porn.
Okay, first
look
off,
that
it's
up.
Hold on,
erotica.
Sean, I gotta say this though. So I saw an ad for Adobe's doing their new rollout for their new update for AI between all their programs, right?
Yeah, put the cheetah in the
And so they
picture.
have, well, no, it's really cool. That's fun. It's kind of different. But no, they have another ad for, it was like trying to show you how you can use it in your business. So it's this guy who is it's like a creative team who makes shoes. And they're like, this is how we use AI. And it shows them asking, this is legit a commercial, asking what is popular for Gen Z. And then it gives them this list. And he's like, now we can make shoes. Because the AI gave us the list.
We
of
have
what's popular.
That's less an AI answer than a Google search.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I was like, so AI is basically determining what's going to be popular. That's basically what they're trying to, like, that's the only thing it's going to be good for, because it just kind of like goes, we're going to guess
Or they
here.
just could have gone out and asked a 15-year-old.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was really funny to me. It's like, we're gonna base our entire new product
Go
line
outside, touch some grass.
on
Come on,
AI.
people.
But I can see it. People are just lazy and they just want to ask AI.
Well, I
no, AI is going to put thousands of gay men and unmarried women out of business.
Because they make shoes?
No, because it's telling you what the fashion trends are
Oh,
going to be.
true. Well, I set my own trend.
queer eye for the AI.
Oh, nice.
I like
AI
it.
for the
Nice.
queer guy. Yeah, so I'm going to work with
AI
that.
for the meat guy.
Yeah, trademark pending.
But yeah, it was really funny to me. It's like that was legit a commercial from Adobe going like, this is how you can use this.
I've seen this one.
You don't have to be
commercial
creative at all anymore.
with, if you're a programmer, sometimes programming is hard, so use our AI to help you with your programming. It's like, okay.
Okay, Skynet.
Yeah, it's kind of a. I'm seeing a Wall-E future with that.
Yeah, maybe. But I'd also see it being more of like it was built in China. It's not going to be like the best.
One thing
the
that
best quality.
kind of helps is the planned obsolescence. You know, in the old days, our cars and fridges and TVs were built to be the same unit for 20 years. Your vacuum tube would go out, you'd replace it, so everything was solid state. Now we have everything with the planned obsolescence of between 3 to 5 years. It's designed
Except
to die.
Toyotas.
Oh, yeah, that's going away.
Right.
Planned
Again,
obsolescence is going away because product as service is replacing it.
But see, what I don't think it's going to happen is, like I said with that commercial, is you need a human to create what humans need.
Right.
Like I don't think AI can they can create stuff, but it's in the end I don't think it's going to be useful. 'cause-
AI can't create stuff.
Yeah,
Well, you know, what I
Number
mean?
one, there's no such thing as AI. There's
Well,
expert
I meant-
systems, there's virtual intelligence,
Yeah,
but AI has
I
yet
meant
to
in
be
this like
created.
aspect of Adobe. They're like, here's what Gen Z likes, and so they're like, this company is
Okay,
going
but
to
it's
build
not
off of that.
creating anything. It's stealing other people's
I know.
work. and
Intellectual
it's
property
It's
and
an
claiming it as-
aggregator
yeah.
at best.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But again, it's if people follow the aggregator 100%, it's going to create a world where it's not what humans create; it's what this aggregator creates.
Well, for one thing, it'll create pants with 3 legs and
Yeah, it can be all sorts of weird.
and
stuff.
Yeah.
gloves with up to 15
I was messing
fingers.
around. What is it? Leonardo.ai. A guy in my office is huge into using these programs to do like graphics for ads and stuff like that. I'm like, or just create
Or,
something.
pull out a pencil.
Like,
Oh, I would 100% use that because I would not want to.
I was playing around, and so I was like,
Don't
I
you guys
typed
have
in-
like a Getty account? Everybody's got a Getty
Yeah,
account.
right. But I just on a whim, I got this Leonardo.ai account, and I started typing in like scenes from something I'd written, like, okay, she looks like this, and they're standing outside the thing, and this is happening, and not. First off, it was bizarre to see it come to life, especially when I would say, the woman has black hair, and I never specified race in my AI descriptions. I said a woman and a man. She's got black hair, but they were all white. It was odd that the AI didn't even think.
It's odd that you think that way.
That was the training material that it had was
Yeah.
pasty white people, I guess.
Yeah,
Which is
true.
also part of the
Again,
problem
I can't
with
think beyond
AI.
the whole. Hey, I want
Yeah,
black
exactly.
hair. Could this be an African American woman?
Sure.
Let's give, because I asked for like 10 samples of each one. And it never did. But then in the middle of that, it would have somebody's leg be this short or 6 fingers or something.
This sounds like Dick's dating website.
With a 6 finger. Yeah.
Yeah, and all kinds of different
Web
profiles.
feed.
I asked for 10 different ones. It's just interesting. Sorry, Dick. Just too easy.
Hey, I'm taken. Okay.
Oh, have we reached this
yeah.
status?
Yeah.
Are you a kept man?
So I'm courting.
Are you courting? Are you wooing?
Yeah, I'm wooing.
You're courting and wooing.
Wooing hard.
You were fine and dandy.
Wooing hard
Yeah.
he is, huh?
Oh yeah.
It's the best way to woo right there.
Yeah.
Woo hard.
The success rate
I
is
woo
usually a little
fast.
better when you
Yeah.
woo hard,
Yeah.
as opposed to soft
See, that's a
wooing.
T-shirt right there.
I woo hard.
Yeah, woo hard.
The woo hard virus.
Yeah. Oh man.
Okay,
Oh,
moving
speaking
past
of three-legged jeans, wasn't that a Saturday Night Live skit probably back in the 90s? You said AI was going to make three-legged jeans.
Yeah.
I think there was a skit
Because
from
of the
Saturday Night
three-legged
Live.
pictures. It was.
Yeah, do they? I really don't watch. Saturday
It's from the
Night Live,
90s.
but-
This was like 30 years ago. I seem to
Okay,
remember
okay.
that being one of their commercials.
Three-legged jeans.
Three-legged jeans.
Okay. Y'all seen any good movies lately? No. Okay.
Yeah,
I
well,
watched the
moving
Fallout
on.
series.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
It was.
I enjoyed it. It was surprisingly good. I thought it was like there's gonna be cheesy things to it, and there's gonna be like especially the ghoul. I thought it was like this is gonna
Oh
be.
no!
So,
As soon as I found out Walton Goggins was playing the,
Well, he's
ghoul,
a
I'm like,
good-
whoa, yeah, it's going.
but it's just the ghoul concept is such a strange thing for I guess people who haven't played the game.
Fallout.
Yeah, I've never played Fallout, so it'd be like, so they're all bad. You know, they're always mean, or
It's
you know.
on my list to watch because I've never played the game.
Yeah.
I have a cursory knowledge of it at best, so I want to go
It's-
with that fresh eye because that's what.
As a freestanding program, it's pretty good.
Oh, I'm sure it is, and I've still got my Xbox.
Yeah, they did a
360.
great job
I'll
explaining
find out.
things because that's some of the concepts
Yeah.
are really different, and it's
Yeah, they
like
did a pretty. They
did
did
a-
a pretty
Well,
good
that's
job
how I
of
gauge
explaining
the
things.
writing. Because one thing about the Mandalorian that ticked me off, I love the first couple of seasons of the Mandalorian. You know, you got Baby Yoda and all these things, but then they started introducing these characters and situations that you had to watch some cartoon elsewhere to even know who they were. Like, oh, Bo-Katan's here. I'm like, who's
I don't know.
Bo-Katan? The Darksaber. I have no idea, and they would never. They would just assume you watched everything else. I'm like, okay, that's just lazy writing where you're not giving me exposition to know.
well, they do a good job in this one.
Yeah,
So I
they-
want to watch this to see if I can keep up with it. Then that means it's good writing.
The only place they fall down is that they do not explain that in the Fallout universe, history doesn't change with the bombs. History changes before the bombs fall. History
Okay.
changes at the end of World War II. We didn't recoil from the use of atomic weaponry, and we went into this whole atomic future
Got it.
from there. And that's why they don't have
really-
microchips.
Okay.
So it's all
vacuum
it's all
tubes
retro
and-
tech. It's all
We can thank Roswell for microchips.
it's retro futuristic.
Okay.
Yeah, it's neat.
I got it. Oh, I'm all about
It's a neat
that.
game too. If you haven't played it,
But other than that, it does a really great. Donna actually understood it once I explained that history changed at the end of World War II, not when the bombs fell. And she's like, "Oh, okay, now I get it all."
yeah, certain aspects where like they do have that technology edge, like it's kind of like this is like an alternative Earth.
Yeah.
Because certain things, but then it's like, well, yeah, like you can still have robots, but they're not like the
With
robots.
transistors and vacuum tubes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see Sean going nuts playing that game.
I probably would.
I can see it.
I just, like I said, I've still got. I
Which
dusted
one?
off my Xbox and it
3
still
or
works.
New Vegas or 4. I don't know, maybe the first.
I got to
one.
start at 1. I'm one of those
Maybe the
guys. I
first-
can't.
the first
come in
one-
halfway
4, I
through.
could see him getting killed by that first.
At the very
Oh,
beginning,
I'm gonna get killed.
That first death claw
Yeah.
encounter
I will
would
get killed
kill
more.
him.
or it's like kind of introduce the game.
Okay, here's a useless trivia question for you. Speaking of the Star Wars kind of realm and them
Okay.
assuming you know stuff, Star Wars, and I call Star Wars, which is now A New Hope, but when I was 12 years old, it was Star Wars. It was so ubiquitous. It covered every. We were all nerds saying, "May the Force be with you." We had the buttons and everything.
Yeah.
It was everywhere. When is the first time we hear the name of Luke's planet?
Tatooine?
Because here's the thing.
You don't hear it until Return of the Jedi.
Empire Strikes Back. The very last scene of Empire Strikes Back, where I'll see you on Tatooine. But here's the thing.
okay.
It was never mentioned. In the original script, it was when Luke and 3PO are talking, and I don't know where I am, and Luke says if there's a bright spot of the galaxy, you're the planet farthest from it. In the book and in the original script, he went on to say you're on Tatooine, but they cut that out of the movie. But by the time Empire Strikes Back rolled around, when he says I'll see you on Tatooine, everyone knew what it meant. Because everyone was talking about Star Wars, but it was never mentioned that this was the desert planet that they grew up on.
Which the things that were cut out of the original Star Wars movie highlights why it was necessary for George Lucas to have a really good editor. Because
The whole Biggs.
there's this Biggs conversation between Luke and Biggs that goes on for like 20 minutes, and there's you can find it on YouTube
Biggs
if
is
you
his
really
buddy.
look for it.
His pilot
And
buddy
they
on
just
Tatooine.
keep going on and on about galactic politics and blah. It's almost exactly like
don't know,
almost exactly like the galactic economics conversation at the beginning of Phantom Menace.
Yeah, when you see there's a trade war going on in the crawl, it's like, oh my god, no.
The blockade.
Because in part 4, it's the period of Civil War. Yeah, there's a blockade going on.
They had that
too.
terrible line with Biggs where it's like, I could shoot was it swamp rat or like?
Yeah, it's like shooting swamp rats in my T-150 back home.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's because his editor was so good, he got too good at it. They cut Biggs out of everything until the very end when they see each other outside the fighter. Biggs, Luke! And then 2 seconds later, Biggs gets blown up. Spoilers. But we don't know who Biggs was.
Spoilers on a 50-year-old movie.
Hey, I don't know. I don't know what the.
Well, you know
statute
that.
is.
Speaking of spoilers, I remember when Dune 2 came out, and I was talking to my buddies about, it, and they're like, "Whoa,
You mean last month?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
go ahead.
remember last month. Yeah.
Well, they're like, "Oh, spoilers,
Let-
man,"
let
and
him
I'm
have
like,
it,
"Well, the
Andrew.
book's
Sorry.
been out
Sorry.
for 60-something years."
I
So
know you said, but I remember when Dune 2 came out. Like it was a long time ago. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it was 23, 24.
yeah.
Early
early.
24.
Well, I mean, the basic
the
events
birds-
have the basic events have already been covered in video twice.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I go, can y'all really get mad at me for spoiling something that's been available to the
Well,
public?
you're discounting the extremely short attention span. I mean, these are the same people that think "I Will Always Love You" was the Whitney Houston song from the Bodyguard.
True. Well, I mean, it's not even that. It's like I didn't ruin anything. I was like, wait till you see the God Emperor. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
right. So let's watch Paul turn into a blind
Wasn't Paul, that
sandworm.
was his son. Leo.
No, it's not Paul. It's.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Paul goes blind.
Yeah.
Leto becomes the
Yeah,
sandworm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, guys. Which I think is awesome, and that's why I was kind of excited that they're like they might make that. I was
think
like,
Frank Herbert just ingested a little too much spice the more he wrote.
well, it wasn't spice supposed to be mushrooms? Isn't that
Yeah,
the whole
pretty-
point?
yeah, that's what I'm
right,
saying.
Like mushroom
Well, you know, he
spores.
sued George Lucas.
He did.
Well, because of the whole Tatooine and the sandworm-looking skeleton.
Ah.
Yeah, yeah, because he claimed that Star Wars was a ripoff of Dune.
Oh, it was.
No, it
and
wasn't.
Tarzan, and the Hidden Fortress, and Lear, and
It's a combination.
yeah.
There's a scrapbook.
But I'm actually on my Kindle. I bought the making.
Well, the
of
Death Star
Wars.
battle was literally Aces High.
Aces High. That's right.
Was literally the fight scene from
He
Aces
took some
High.
scenes from 623 Squadron and the Dam Busters. Also, the whole theme about the
Yeah.
Dam Busters. You had
Yeah.
to go through this trench, and but then again, look at Top Gun Maverick.
You ever-
That
you ever
was
seen a Dam
Star
Buster?
Wars in F-18s.
Did you ever see a Dam Buster being released? You ever seen that? Isn't that crazy?
Those are awesome.
Yeah, I'm former RAF dude. We
Have you
learned
seen
all
those,
about
Andrew?
What's that?
A Dam Buster?
No.
So like to blow up dams and I guess even World War One.
They
I
didn't
guess.
actually blow up any dams.
in World War One or World War
They
Two.
weakened a couple, but they didn't actually
Yeah,
destroy
two.
them.
So what it was just a barrel,
Oh, okay.
and it was.
I thought you were talking
it
about something
was-
from Star Wars.
No, well there's a
No.
movie,
Royal Air Force fighters would.
but like they would go towards the dam
Mm-hmm.
and then they would release the barrel and it would skip, and had
Oh, cool.
explosives in
Yeah.
it, and then you try to hit the dam, and it's like
That's
you're
kinda
bowling. And
Interesting.
But there's a
Well,
movie.
what
There's
was really
there's a
cool
movie.
about it wasn't the bomb. It was that these British pilots would fly these Lancaster bombers, which is British version of a B-19, 30 feet above a river through a canyon to get down to these dams for I don't know, like 50 miles.
and I think
It's
that
impressive.
And
But-
so yeah, so Star Wars borrowed from that, and then Ridley Scott, borrowed that for Top Gun Maverick.
Now,
Same thing.
borrowing implies you're going to give something back.
Hey, can I borrow
More
that
like
cigarette from you?
stolen.
I think
Homage.
Stolen.
I think it's whatever.
What
Do
they call
whatever
it
you want.
in comedy is an homage.
Yeah, well,
There you
Joseph
go.
Campbell said it. Who's like one of the undisputed leaders of film history, says that there are 8 stories in the universe.
It's kind of like there's
And
only 4
everything's a
chords in
variation.
every song, you know? And everything's a variation of those 4 chords.
I've seen that video.
Yes, the Axis of Awesome.
Yes, I love those guys.
Yeah, that's really, really
Have
funny.
you seen that where they
Yeah.
do like 100 songs from the same 4 chords?
Yeah.
But no, Dune 2 was a lot of fun.
And now back to Dune 2. And,
Well, I
that
like talking
popcorn,
about
and
it.
that popcorn topper, I know that was the real reason you went to go see it.
I went to the cinema. I was going to wait for it
Did
to come out
you-
on streaming. I went to the cinema so I could get that
Absolutely.
popcorn. And
Here, I got a
apparently I went to
show.
Cinemark, and it wasn't available at Cinemark, only AMC.
Man.
I was so mad. I could have gone an AMC.
That was the best part about the
Did
movie.
you? I want to show. I'm gonna pull up this picture. Did you see the Deadpool, the Wolverine popcorn?
Oh,
Uh-oh.
dare I ask?
Do we have another utensil that can be used on yourself for various
No, I
items? Is this what's going on
don't
again?
know if this is real, but I saw it and I kind of laughed.
Is it another marital aid?
Let's see. I'm trying to find like a bigger picture of it.
Or if you're just bored by yourself in the movie.
Yeah, right.
Here.
Like I told Dick, it
Good
gives
to
a whole
see
new
you again,
meaning.
Mr. Herman.
Yeah. No, I
about
said it gives a whole
popcorn
new meaning to the term popcorn
my
trick.
God.
No way. No way. Oh my God.
Yeah, I saw that and I want to pull up for the.
I'm going to bring that up on Audience of One show. That is
that great?
phenomenal.
I feel like Ryan Reynolds was 100% behind that when he saw it.
Absolutely. Probably Hugh Jackman, too.
God.
I don't think either of them take themselves that seriously. That's awesome.
But the trailer for have you seen the trailer for Deadpool
yes.
Wolverine? It looks
Which
so
one?
much
There's
fun.
3 out
Yeah,
now.
they keep on.
Oh, man.
New teaser, but
The
I'm
newest
very
one.
excited to see how
Yeah.
it turns out. It's very self-referential.
Well, the Feige joke, Feige joke with cocaine is hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
that's hilarious. That is good.
I was sitting there going like, and a lot of the stuff they were saying because I know I read reports that Ryan Reynolds was like we're leaving Logan in, like the movie Logan. So like that's the end of Wolverine's story.
Yeah.
So this is the theory is this is going to be the Wolverine before that. So he's not old man Logan quite yet.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And then it's gonna. I'm really excited. I like this concept they got going and.
Well, I like the
gonna be
concept
good.
because, especially in the Feige world, and more, they're wanting to take established characters and change them to an audience that's not that audience.
Yeah. Well.
In the sense that,
Well, it's like they have the character they want, and then they use stories from comics, but they don't change the character to fit that comic line story.
well, there's that, but also like let's take She-Hulk as an example. She-Hulk, growing up in the comic book as a young guy, it was a comic for frisky young kids because she was the 7 foot tall, gorgeous green woman, and her costume would always be contrived to get ripped up. That was the gag, and that's why they had her break the fourth wall and talk directly to us in the comic.
Did you read the She-Hulk on which the series was based? Because the series was based on John Byrne's She-Hulk in the 90s.
Yeah, I know, no. But what I'm saying is that you got Feige and the showrunners of She-Hulk the series who were man-bashing, saying, we're doing this for a whole new audience. This is an audience for the empowered woman.
weren't doing a lot
And then they had her twerking, but at the very end, they
Did have her twerking. That was
Yeah.
really odd.
They did have her twerking. That was funny. Her
But
and Megan
at the
Thee
end, when
Stallion.
she busts out of the streaming menu thing and goes in the writers' room and busts them for being, you're screwing up the show. It's like you guys planned to write a bad show to try and get a new audience that goes against the current audience, and then bash the audience that's supposed to have liked it.
It was really weird.
Not for not keeping up with it, but there's not enough of the new audience to make up for the lack, and that's what we're seeing. We saw more and more of these movies or beers.
I
won't
liked the new She-Hulk.
but
I thought it was awesome.
Not mentioning a beer by name, but I think we know what we're talking about. They had a new marketing director.
Blonde
say,
Shell Blonde.
Huh?
Yeah, no, that's not it.
Yeah, no. But
No, people are
it
upset they
was,
changed their name.
We're going to
Stella Artois alcohol-free.
Yeah, we're going to tick off half of our long-term audience, a generational audience. You like a certain brand of beer, your dad liked it, and his dad liked it. And we're going to tick off at least half of them to open up this new market. But there was no one in that new market to make up for the slack. And they're doing that with Disney is just doing that left and right.
Did you see they're making a
With their
Mufasa
shows.
movie?
There are better shows for you to pull out than She-Hulk for that. I mean, She-Hulk. Admittedly,
Okay.
a lot of the off-camera yapping that went on from especially the showrunner, and a little bit.
Well, yeah, them
Orphan
saying if
Black.
you don't like the show, then you're a racist, misogynist, whatever. It's like, no, it's bad writing.
A lot of that.
Doctor Who's
she's
another one.
green.
See, a lot of that.
Yeah.
That I'll agree. They
Danny
really
Personal
didn't need
color.
to say that to make those comments. But a lot of the people's complaints about the show are just bullshit.
You use the BS word on the air, Brett.
Yeah, you're
$5.
kicked
Yeah,
off.
I mean, it's my-
Sit in
it's-
timeout. You're sitting in timeout.
Yeah.
I told you it was
a matter of time. Hey, we made it an hour.
It was my goal to get him a couple of red marks on his FCC file, and he said, "Okay, go ahead. I don't care. Nobody listens here anyway."
Well, if I'd known
No,
that,
I didn't say it
would've
like that. I
listened
didn't
to
say
it.
it's a free pass. But now Disney won't sponsor it. No, no.
Yeah,
So-
sorry, I lost the Disney.
We were so close to locking
Account.
that one up. Yeah,
Well, he
Yeah.
did say he liked She-Hulk,
this
Yeah.
is true.
so that's good.
She-Hulk-
And
But that
She-Hulk
just-
had some weak episodes. I mean, it was not nearly as bad as
there's so many bad ones.
the
Hawkeye one.
No, Hawkeye was actually pretty
That's
good.
pretty good.
The one with Nick Fury and the Skrulls.
Oh, the invasion.
Secret
Or
Wars.
Secret Wars.
Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
That one was just
Just
boring
going
and
for
Basically,
it.
I won't
went up
watch
its own
anything now
asshole
until
so
I
much.
watch the pitch meeting beforehand,
Oh yeah.
and that'll determine if I want.
That's why. That's why I need to go see Madden Web.
Brian George
Okay,
is a
by
cop.
the way, the best movie I've seen lately, and I caught it in the cinema because I wanted to see it on the big screen, was Godzilla Minus Zero. I thought that was one of the best movies. You could take Godzilla out of it and still have a strong story. Because it's your traditional, Godzilla, taking over Tokyo kind of thing. But them setting it literally the day Japan surrenders in World War II.
That's awesome.
Well, and what happens is they're on this island. You got this final round of scientists and military people who kind of, the implication is they're responsible for the creation of Godzilla somehow. Because when Godzilla suddenly shows up, they're not, what is this thing? It's more of a, oh my God, he's here. But there's a pilot who's landed on this island. He was a kamikaze pilot who developed engine trouble.
Okay.
And so they're, the opening scene is they're looking at his engine going, your engine looks fine. I don't know what happened. I had to land. And then you find out the guy's, he's a coward. Or in my world,
Depends on
a
your
smart guy
perspective.
for not wanting to
Depending on
plow
your
his airplane
perspective.
into a ship.
Well, I mean, he signed the contract, so I mean, come on, dude.
Right.
Well, I mean,
So you have your protagonist as an coward, because what happens is when they realize there's nothing wrong with this airplane, they're like, wait, you're supposed to be a kamikaze pilot, you punked out. And then when Godzilla comes and starts killing everyone, they're like, we don't have any weapons, get in your airplane and shoot him.
yeah.
And he freezes, he gets in his airplane, and so Godzilla kills everyone, he's the only survivor. He goes back to Japan.
-1.
He goes back to Japan.
Is that what -1 meant?
No, it was
Minus
that
zero.
Japan was zero to begin with, because this is Japan losing the war, dishonor across, because the whole thing is about honor and dishonor, and then you add one to that with getting destroyed by this giant monster.
Insult to injury, right there. yeah.
Exactly, and the thing is that with this, he even goes back home, and his neighbors hate him
Don't
because
ruin
like
it.
it's because of you. This is
Don't
not
ruin
really.
it. That's ruin it. You're ruining it right now. There's no character development. Now I already know. It's like,
well,
oh, he's a coward.
you could have predicted what would happen when he goes home.
Yeah.
Because
How do people know?
there was one
How do
Japanese
people
man
know?
on there was one Japanese man on the Titanic.
Okay.
He survived through good luck or whatever. He gets to Japan and he is completely socially shunned, and he was driven to suicide because he didn't die with the ship. Oh,
Oh, you're talking about real life.
In
Okay.
real life.
I was like, wait a
No, not
second.
in
movie.
real life.
I
This
saw
guy,
Titanic. I didn't see this guy.
this
Is he the chef at the end?
No. No,
thought
on
he was-
the
I
actual
thought he was-
Titanic, in real life,
Okay.
this Japanese guy who was the only Japanese guy on the ship, he was a customer, a client. He was a passenger. That's the word. Not a member of the crew. Manages to survive. Goes home to Japan. They treat him like he.
That's crazy.
Because honor,
And then he gets killed by
having spent
Godzilla.
my childhood there, I'll tell you, honor was really, really,
Well,
really
the fact
huge.
that women died and he didn't meant that he should have given up his seat on one of the lifeboats.
How dare you have the temerity to survive? And it's the same thing with this. When he goes home, they know that he was supposed to be a kamikaze pilot. So they're telling him, because of guys like you, we lost the war. So he's shunned, and of course Godzilla comes. But on top of that, you got the whole country feeling dishonored because they lost the war.
I think I see where this is going, though, but he saves the day because he's got the only plane, right?
No.
With weapons. Okay.
No, that's not it. At all.
And he redeems himself from being a coward.
I'm not going to say if he redeemed himself or not, but the whole thing is that
No, he's always a coward. Once a
he's
coward,
the
always a coward.
individual who reflects the entire national movement of the whole country's feeling dishonored. And they kind of gloss over the American occupation, because America occupied Japan solid for 10 years after World War II to make sure no one got too uppity, I guess. So they kind of gloss over that where they're saying we're on our own, because they said in the movie they ask America and the Soviet Union for help.
Most of the American forces occupying Japan during that 10
That's
years
why I did the
was the
finger
Seabees
quote.
and the Army Corps of Engineers rebuilding the entire
Yes,
country.
I know. I live there. I know it. That's why I was doing finger quotes. But
They're fighting again.
yeah.
Mom and Dad are fighting again.
But yeah, so they gloss over that by just saying, well, we've asked for help, and they said, no, we're on our own. So it's the Japanese collective having to say, can we overcome our dishonor and honorably take care of the situation? And it's got elements of Jaws, and I mean, there's a scene right out of Jaws.
And then there's a
where
guy
you
with
got
actual
Godzilla.
logic in the movie going, hey guys, there's a giant lizard destroying the town. Screw the honor idea. Let's survive first, and then we'll figure
But
it out.
it's how do you survive? How do you handle it? You got to get together, because with everyone, when I say dishonor, I mean they were like killing themselves. Ritualistic suicide was a thing, so it was like, we need you to help us fight this monster. No, I can't. I failed in the war. If I can't even win a war,
That's where
I'm
Godzilla comes in.
So it's an amazing movie if you can catch it.
It sounds great, actually.
Yeah, hardcore recommend it. And the other Godzilla movies, I can take or leave. I mean,
Right.
truly.
So Mitsubishi made the Zero,
Yeah.
which was the plane that was used in Pearl Harbor.
yeah.
It's like
They're now
like
the number one
Volkswagen.
creator of Apache helicopters.
And
Yeah.
Volkswagens, those were Hitler's cars.
There's always money in
There's
the
a
banana
guy
stand.
named Youth Pastor Ryan that's on YouTube Shorts.
Okay.
And he's constantly talking. He's talking to different companies about what they do and what they did in World War II. It's hilarious.
Oh, I got to check that out. I love that. It's like Sarah Silverman, not a big fan of hers, but apparently she is so rabid against if you're Jewish and you're driving a German car, you just need to be whacked upside the head.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Was not aware
Yeah.
of that.
Never forget, I guess.
Right.
Well,
Because that was always one thing I always was interested in history, because there's a lot of history with the development in Germany of Nazism and then that whole political party. But like Japan always kind of was, I'm always curious about, especially when they decided, hey, we're going to start attacking China. We're just going to start doing this. Because it was like they got a telegram that like Germany's invading Poland. They're like, we should probably do that. Like this, they're
okay.
Sounds cool.
The invasion of China happened.
Dude,
about
I'm
6
in.
years
Yeah.
before the
Yeah, well,
invasion
that's
of
what I'm saying.
Poland.
I don't know that, and I was wondering like, why did they start the invasion in Japan? Because I get why Germany did. Because
Much
they
like
wanted
Germany,
to.
it goes back to the Treaty of Versailles. Because Japan was actually an ally of the Americans and the British and the French in World War I.
Mm-hmm.
And at the Treaty of Versailles, they were pretty much crapped on.
well, did they do anything?
Huh?
You talking about Japan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, did they do anything?
Well, yeah, they fought. They sent troops to Europe, but they also fought in the colonial wars. Because I mean, those colonies in Indochina were owned by multiple
People like British, British,
European countries before World War II.
Yeah.
They'd been there since the 19th century, and Japan was fighting with those guys on Europe's behalf. But anyway, they were allied. They were members of the alliance,
So they're upset.
and they did not even have a seat at the table really at Versailles, and
They wanted to have a seat at the table. I like
basically taught them that Europeans,
suck.
yeah,
Pretty much, yeah.
Europeans were pretty racist at the time.
Well, I think everyone was a little racist at the time, and for their own reasons. Right? Because I'm pretty sure Japanese like hated Chinese people.
Oh, the
yeah.
Japanese and the Chinese have hated each other for
Yeah.
centuries.
Just watch Kill Bill Volume 2 and you'll see it at its core.
And I mean, for several centuries, the whole China-Japan thing was a lot like China-Taiwan, where China was not willing to accept that this island 500 miles away refused to be part of their country. So
Weird.
weird, right?
Yeah. I want to be a fly on the wall in that first conversation. Like we're gonna claim you. I'm like, no, I don't, no.
Well, I mean, Japan was a colony of China originally, and well, actually, originally they had a native population, Taiwan as well, and then the Chinese came in and basically ran everybody off, because the native population both of Formosa and of Japan still live there. They're just
Like the Aborigines.
There's a lot.
in
See, that was a good question. Look at that. I asked a great question. Great question.
well,
And-
they're like Native Americans, only not the ones on the res, just Native Americans that aren't allowed on the res. You know, they're not treated
Like Aborigines.
well, like Aborigines.
In Australia, you know, they're the natives of Australia. They have rights, and you know, they're not like shunted, as Brett said, not shunted off into reservations. There's a coexistence there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Australia, the land that's designed just to kill you.
So I didn't know 6 years. I didn't know that war started 6 years prior to Nazi or Germany invading Poland.
Well,
Yeah.
there's always a main branch for warfare going back hundreds.
There's
of
always
years.
something going on.
One leads to the other.
There's always
leads to the
something
other.
going on, guys.
Well
I
said,
mean-
Dick. Well said.
Yeah. Can you
I mean,
imagine going to college
Czechs
today?
the Czechs and the Slovaks didn't just join Germany in friendly fashion in 1936.
Oh, I know. But I
The only
mean,
thing that made it not a war was that the European power said, "Oh yeah, you guys can go ahead and have that."
yeah, I like it.
You're saying, can I imagine me
Can
in
you
college
can you
today?
imagine going to college today?
they
and
would
you're
put me
like
in.
you're waking up. And you're
Again.
Like oh, I'm late for class. I gotta get going. And then you're like you're running through the quad or whatever they call it, and then it's like all of a sudden these people are protesting. And I'm like, why is half my grade out here? Aren't we supposed to be? Do we have to go to class? Is it canceled? And like that would be me 100%. I'd be like, I get to class like, do we have to be here? And like, well, you can go.
Protesting is an elective credit these
Yeah,
days.
like I feel like because
I'd be the guy in the classroom saying, I get extra
Funny
credit
thing.
for being here.
well,
right?
that's what I'm kind of curious
Funny thing,
about.
most of those people aren't actually
college students.
college.
Well, I wouldn't
students.
doubt that. I mean, people just like partying, but it's like I was always curious to see the backlash or what are the consequences of that at the university, because if you do say like they do get in trouble and they get arrested, it's like because like at ACU, if you get arrested for anything, you're in trouble.
Well, yeah, you do.
Like, no matter
There's
what.
a certain code of conduct that, and again, that's going to be the free speech versus, a university, especially if it's a private university,
Yeah.
has rights. There's no expectation of privacy in a workplace. There's no expectation
Yeah.
of free speech in a private institution.
Because that was the scary thing about ACU was the police force had like a 6-mile radius.
Yeah,
And so it's like-
memory serves, a campus cop has the jurisdictional authority of a county sheriff's
Something
deputy.
like that. Like they're legit cops.
Yeah.
They're legit officers. It's not just like some guy.
In Texas, they are.
Yeah.
I don't know how they are I think in Florida they are as well.
Probably, yeah.
I don't know. I saw a Conroe ISD cop on the way in here, and I got scared.
Oh yeah, no,
reflexively.
they'll do it. They'll pull
But yeah,
it.
can you imagine going
Why,
to
are you
school though
skipping high
today?
school?
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
What?
Me?
Like going to school today and like that's what you see, and it's like it's people protesting
Well,
about that kind
I'd
of
be
crap.
I'd be the guy.
Like some person's raising a Palestinian flag. Like, man, what is going on today? It's a Tuesday, guys. Like,
Hey, funny thing about that, the freedom to assemble, even though it's protected in the First Amendment, is not absolute. And if you don't have a permit, you're not allowed to have those protests.
that's because the man wants to get you down, making all this paperwork required.
well, I just love
Well,
the
that's the
demand
thing.
started being after a couple of days. This gal got behind the microphone and said, "You need to bring us food." It's like, okay, if you're gonna like take over something instead of an
Yeah.
establishment
Well,
in a campus,
they don't have
Well,
strong
that-
leaders.
do it in the
Nothing.
food hall.
Yeah, that was my thing was
This
because
wasn't
one of
planned out
the
too
things
well.
we all have meal cards, so we should be getting food. And it's like, well, you got a meal card, leave the building, go across the campus, and go to the food hall.
Yeah. Again, I'd be like, do I have to go to school today?
You're always looking for an angle out to get outside of school.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh,
Or
that's
out of
what.
school.
Oh,
See,
me 100%.
I was
I didn't
wondering
care.
if-
Pay
wanted to go.
$10,000 to want to skip school.
Yeah, does it really make sense? Does
Well,
it?
certain classes I did, okay, because certain teachers were like, "You're like, do I really have to listen to this dude for 2.5 hours today?" I just woke up. Like, I'm not gonna be able to process. My favorite was the ethics teacher.
See,
My ethics was my favorite class because I was terrible at it, and I always
Go
laugh.
figure.
Oh,
Yeah.
my first acting class.
This is why
ethics,
I'm glad
yeah.
I went to college when I did, because when I went to college, if you didn't want to go to class,
Well, I had to
You
go to
didn't
every
have to.
class. I had to go to every class.
they didn't take roll. When I
See,
went to college, they didn't take roll.
Well, see, where I went, they're like, we want to get your money's worth, so you have to attend. Like, I think I can only miss
Oh,
one.
I didn't care if we got our money's worth.
Oh, they care.
There were like
They
10
care.
classes my first year of college that I only showed up for the tests.
But talking ethics at 8 a.m. with one of those, you know,
Hey, that's
you
how
can
I learned
imagine.
how to act. An ethics class taught me this
Really?
is how I walk amongst these people.
Ethics are very
Yeah.
important.
I
As
get
long as you
this
can
now.
fake them,
was-
you've got
was
it
like
made.
my first acting class.
Oh, I'm
Like,
not kidding
I
you.
can act
I'll
this way.
never forget when he like invited me to his office. He went and talked to me about my poor performance. I was like, how am I being bad at this? This is ethics. Like that. I always laughed about it because like is it my grammar?
Isn't it subjective?
No. That's what I was like. Is it my grammar? No.
So
no,
what was your
my
poor performance?
He just didn't like the way I thought. I thought that was pretty crazy.
No.
He was unethical.
I think he just acted on what we all were all thinking.
He's just jealous.
Yes, very much.
But
Who's
I
got a
was-
radio station now and who
Yeah.
doesn't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
I got a
laughing.
morning radio show. Who's the loser now?
All right, yeah, I don't know.
On the trolley question, you said, is there a way to make it go both ways?
What was it? The son medication conundrum? Like, do you steal the medication to heal your son, to save your son, or is it ethical to steal?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But is it?
There are essential lies. It's ethical to steal. That's why everything's got to be taken on a case by case basis for the most part.
Yeah.
Ethics. They're fluid. Who knew?
I mean, there are essential ethical benchmarks. You know, don't do this.
Who says?
Huh?
Who says?
I do. Skippy for president.
Yeah. I like it.
Vote early. Vote often. Vote Skippy.
So when you say there are essential lies,
Do these jeans make my butt look big, honey?
Nah.
Well, what happens
you're
if
beautiful.
What happens if I like it big?
See, the thing is if you avoid actually saying what they're asking,
Oh, that's a lie by omission.
there's
See,
no such thing as a lie by
embrace
omission.
it.
It's a sin of omission, not a lie of omission.
but
Splitting hairs.
yeah,
Here, I
right.
think.
well, so you're also insinuating that when we ask that question,
You will eventually, or something along those veins.
because I'll ask it first. Right when I know she's about to ask, like, does she?
Well,
does she
okay, so
make
this
my
is
butt look big?
interesting. So I'm a Rotarian. Okay, I'm
Bragger.
in the Rotary Club.
Oh, I
And
thought that
there's
was
this-
something. I thought it meant something completely different. I was like, wait,
Okay.
you like
He's
wear,
really into chickens.
wear women's underwear? Is that what that means?
I
was going the
I
rotisserie
rotate
chicken.
Rotary
freely.
Club, Matt, see, when we were younger, when we were kids, Rotary Club was the big thing to be in because you could be in it. It's basically a networking club.
Well, back then, only if you were a guy. Believe it or not, Rotary was meant only till the '80s, and it went to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And
It's never been the same since, huh, man?
Yeah.
Am I right? Am I
Wait,
right?
that darn 19th Amendment.
What's
Well-
the deal with the
Well, I mean,
Supreme
Rotary
Court
Club was
getting
where you went
involved
if you
with
couldn't
everything?
get into the Lions
Well,
Club
it's there
or
to
the
get
or
it.
the
Now,
Elks.
not everything's supposed to get up there, but in Rotary, at the end of meetings and stuff, they have this thing called the four-way test, which is this litany you do about and everything you say, think, or do, and it's four things: is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Stuff like that. And I'm actually giving a speech there to say, actually, not all of these are good necessarily. It's not always good to tell the truth in everything you think, do, or say. It's not always fair to all concerned. It's not supposed to be. Sometimes I have to be completely unfair in order for somebody to learn or learn from their own mistakes or whatnot.
You're picking fights, man.
Yeah, I'm going to actually
No.
pick fights with Rotary International, which has like a 10 million membership thing, and I'm uppity enough to say I
So
think
the
this
basis
is
of this
wrong.
entire thing, I got some issues with.
Right, and to point it out.
We got to be wrapping it up. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's 5 to 11. Son of a gun.
Look at that. We had a lot of
25 minutes
fun.
went fast.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know I missed. Do I get an extra 10 minutes from waiting for making your darn coffee there?
No.
We should get an extra
You'll never get
25
that time
minutes for
back.
Somebody,
Waiting
you know.
to push the start button.
No.
See, you should have bought should have brought your car boat.
What's a car boat?
Didn't
You've
you
never
watch
seen the
Flipper?
car boat?
What?
Oh, this thing is awesome. It was made in the 60s, and I think they made
Yeah,
like
it was,
maybe 100 of them
I thought you were talking about the duck
worldwide.
boat.
No, it's literally a car that's also a boat.
Yeah, it's like an amphibious vehicle. Yeah.
they took it to its
No.
weirdest
An
extreme, and-
amphibious vehicle is a military vehicle
No,
that's that's
He's
designed to
Mr.
float
Details.
and drive.
Mr.
A car
Details.
boat is a car and a
A
boat.
boat at the same time. You're right.
Wait, you could actually buy this?
You could back in the
back
day.
in-
I'm guessing it didn't do
60s,
well
hold on.
because
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about
I
something
think
in like a
Tupper
movie
made it.
or
Didn't Tupper
something.
make it? So you might not ever be.
Yeah,
able
it was
to
called
buy
the
it again.
One of them was the Amphicar, and
Which
it was
is short for.
amphibious.
Amphibious car.
I rest my
not
case.
amphibious vehicle. Amphibious.
Oh my
car.
God.
Told you, Mr. Details. I love it.
Yeah, but and they took it to its weirdest extreme, obviously, in The Spy Who Loved Me, the James Bond movie.
Oh, see, I thought that's what you were talking about. Like, I didn't know they actually
Details
legit
are
sold it.
important. It's like these guys walking around talking about, well, you know, the AR-15 was originally designed for military. No, it wasn't. The AR-15 was originally designed for
For me.
regular civilian use. It was never an automatic weapon. The M16 and the M4, which follow the same basic body and receiver design as the AR-15, were designed for military use, but not the AR-15. So
Now we know.
the details are important, especially if you're arguing.
I
with
just want the
idiots.
gun they used in Starship Troopers because I thought it never ran out of bullets.
You should play Helldivers. You love it.
Will that be it?
You should play Helldivers.
Because they had this little, magazine, but it held like 3 billion
Oh,
rounds.
it's
I
so
love
much
that.
fun.
I love those
You'd
guns.
love. I'll show it to you after here. You'll
Yeah.
love it.
Show me your guns, dude.
Would you like
yes.
to know more?
So we got to be going, guys. You're listening to Mornings in Lone Star, OurLoneStar.com. Be safe out there. It is Friday, 10:56. We got shows coming up here for the Talk Radio till 3 p.m. Stick around. Thank you for tuning in and having fun with us. We'll be back later.
Howdy, everybody. This is Jared